Hello, Powerhouse Smart friends and colleagues. We are here. I'm actually at the SKS showroom at the Chicago Merchandise Mart, and I'm in their office space, so it's a little different today. But I'm so excited because I have a very cool guest. And as you know, this is the Powerhouse Smart Cool Collabs podcast, where I select esteemed, cool leaders that are in my network, and I share them with you because they have the three pillars. They believe in collaboration, they live with an attitude of gratitude, and they love helping others and helping humanity. And that is our guest today, to a T, Julie Finelli. She is the founder of Root Collaborative, and she does so much in the world of really helping people in business operations. But this is commutable, so it always goes way too fast. So I'm going to turn it over to her, let her grab the microphone and share her story, and then we'll have our friendly, lovely, heartfelt conversation back and forth. So, Julie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, so if you could share your story, like how did you know in your life that this is what you wanted to do? How did it all begin?
Sure. I have always been a systems thinker. I've always been somebody who tends to see patterns and I'm very analytical and take things apart and like to put them together in different structures. Yeah, I definitely need to. I've found that the way that I map the world is maybe a little bit unique. So while it took me a while to grow into that, I definitely found that that can be useful in helping other businesses and particularly just people, um, you know, navigate the systems and structures that we have and our humanity within that. And so that's how I eventually came to found Rootwork Collaborative to be able to consult and work directly with, partner with organizations so that we can help them really embody their values and their mission and who they want to be, not only externally to the world but also internally.
I love that. What a smart girl you are. How do you know that at such a young age that I'm really analytical and it's just really I'm very impressed with the fact that you know came into this and realized this is something where I can help other people by giving them more of a structure. And that's exactly what you're doing with you being our expert educator for our PowerHouse SMART PowerConnect groups. So those are groups that we form for that meet for a year. So each group is say maybe 8 to 10 business leaders in all different aspects of our industry, which we happen to be luxury, real estate development, architecture, and all the things that come with that. And we meet once a month, and we have each every other month we have an expert speaker, and you are the speaker this month. And I actually participated in a Power Connect group here in Chicago yesterday, and you were up on the screen and you were very analytical, very structured, but it was like a wow. Like if we just take a little bit of what we just learned today and implement that into our businesses, we can make a big difference in the people's lives that work there and then in the business growth and also in the clients getting the best out of everything. So now my question is, how did you start this consulting company? Did you do it right out of college, or did you experience other companies and say, "Hey, I can really take this in and help in a bigger way"? Share with that
Yeah,
how that came about.
thank you. Yeah. It was much more indirect than that. Less linear. I definitely had a lot of experience in the real world, but in multiple different capacities. And I really think that's helped me shape my perspective and allow a more holistic perspective when I take a look at companies. But I started off in more of a creative realm. That was my first degree, was in the creative world, art and design, and then international communication. I ended up working in arts and cultural organizations for a while. I did some teaching. I have, worked as a manager in different levels of internal operations. And ultimately, I decided that rather than being the producer, the creative that is, making something. I functioned better in the behind the scenes work in helping others do what they do best. And and that is an endlessly curious topic for me, because humans are all different and we will all do things differently. And so, as I've worked a little bit more closely with organizations over time and really honed into what my world is, my industry, that has been operations, and people management. I found that I tended to work with organizations that were undergoing a lot of change, often burnout. There was difficulty, there was challenges that they were experiencing, and I happened to be there through a lot of those, and to be able to see these patterns and to kind of help make sense of them. And so that's what brought me to Rootwork Collaborative. We named it Rootwork Collaborative because I like to get to the root of what the issues are, and people are at the root of businesses and organizations. And so the way that people and systems work together is my focus, and yeah, endless curiosity about that subject.
Yeah, no, and I love the name, and you're absolutely right. And I do feel like even just in my sitting in your session yesterday that we did, that it was all about like I love like for example, you call it client, not client mapping, employee mapping. That's brilliant. Like where you really figure out, and speaking of the fact that you love to work and you have a tendency to navigate towards industries where there is a complex process, be it construction, architecture, and I want you to share a little bit about spitting babies next. But in organizations that their products and services are complicated, and so to solve problems, you have to go to the root. And I love that. And so I love the employee mapping, and also client mapping would be amazing. I thought that was a brilliant idea. And I certainly hope that those who are here today are going to get all kinds of links to reach out to you. I'd love to, if there's any of those that are videos that you have, you really need, if you have a company or you work for a company that could use some process improvement, gosh, Julie would be such a gift to your organization. She just has so much to share. So let's go back to, I know you started Rootwork Collaborative, but then also I saw on LinkedIn, and I know that you're the development director or people and operations director for Spinning Babies. And so tell me, that's not real estate or design or construction. What happened? How did that all happen?
Yeah, good question. Um, well, I ended up going back to school at some point, and the degree that I got is functionally business management for nonprofits or for mission-driven organizations. And so that's what brought me to Spinning Babies, which is a maternal health organization. And this is an organization that has had really, really grassroots beginnings and has grown into a worldwide, very influential company in maternity health. And we're doing huge things. We're doing really big things for birth work, for parents, for families, and professionals who serve those groups. And I believe hugely in the mission. It's been so inspiring. But that wasn't my background. You're right. And I'm not a midwife. I'm not a birth worker by any means, but I think that my skill sets were rather well suited to this because there was, a lot of growth happening in this organization. And so I've been really proud to be part of the infrastructure building of this business as it tries to catch up with the demand that we're providing, and to also, establish a team that is able to contribute effectively to the mission day to day. No matter what you're doing, this is how I can contribute effectively. And so that goes from, mapping out what the employee or the team member does from beginning to end of their time with the team. But it also is about the particular projects and all of the layers of structures and areas for creativity and connection within that. So that was a long way to say that it's just been another really good opportunity for me to use my systems thinking brain.
Yeah, no, no, no. And so when you first started with Spinning Babies, how big was it and where is it now? Because I'm sure you creating, the operations and the procedures and what you call the dynamics has really made an impact on how impactful they can be as a nonprofit. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I think so, but I think I've also been surrounded by an incredible community there, and that's part of what a big part of what's made me who I am today, but also who we are as a team. The 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 level of passion that there is, I think that's like the thing that draws us all together.
Mhm.
We all want to do better for the world. And speaking of roots, this is Spinning Babies has a particular mission that is very, it's the beginnings of life that we're talking about. It's huge. And so, I mean, back to your question, I started off when Spinning Babies was already international, but had been kind of sh growing from maybe childhood, I would say, in a way, to to like, I don't know, young adulthood. And so navigating that growth and that change included building the team, defining what the culture is, documenting it, and then being able to navigate the different communities that we serve internationally. Because as the company is growing, each community that you're working with is going to accept, different layers of the work that you're doing differently. And so we've had to navigate that together. And all this growth and all this scaling that we've been doing is beautiful and fun and exciting, but it also leaves a lot of ambiguity. And I think that's what's benefited me almost the most out of this experience in um, in total is really being able to handle ambiguity, being able to see opportunity and be grateful for opportunity in those really uncomfortable moments sometimes in the challenges. So I find that, we're becoming a more well-established business. And I think that we have a great foundation now that we didn't have before, technology-wise and people-wise. And people are seeing it. We hear from our customers, from our different communities that they're seeing stability in a way that we hadn't before. And I love that. I love to be part of that.
Mhm.
Um, and I also love that that means that we can do better. We can continue to offer our product in a better way, our service, our thought, and our mission in a better way. And so I've been really thankful to be part of that.
Yeah, you can tell you're just beaming and you're just so excited about it. And you're weaving in the analytical with the humanity of life and you're also giving back. So everything that this whole podcast is about. So I love all of that. So given that the people are listening to this, I really want to make it easy for them. So if they're working, well, maybe you help me. If they're, do they have to be in HR? Do they have to own their own company? What kind of people should reach out to you or learn more about your processes and your strategies to help improve themselves as human beings and as companies?
Sure, good question. I think, where I started was just believing that uh, root work will probably work best if the the team that comes to me has a basic understanding of what they want to offer and who they want to be in the world. And there might be nuances of that that can be built upon, but as long as that's there, you could be a small team or you could be a mid-sized business, and I can partner with any of that. I think that uh, most people who come to me tend to be those who are experiencing challenges, and so they've identified, they've been able to say, we've come this far, we are this far through growth into our growth phase, and I'm seeing disconnects. And I'm seeing that there is, you know, the communication isn't happening very well, or things aren't landing on the team like I thought they would, or values feel performative. They don't feel real. They don't feel integrated into like who our team is. And that's where I come in is helping them to navigate the humanity part with the systems and the tools that they have.
Great, I love that. So, can you share? And I know you and I didn't talk about this in advance because it's just a casual, fun conversation between two professionals who respect and care about each other. But can you share maybe your favorite story of a company that you were able to help? And I know I wish I had more time. It has to be unfortunately succinct, but maybe to give the audience a little bit of flavor on that.
Sure. I'll share a recent experience that I had was so great with a Minnesota-based, I'm based in Minnesota myself, but a Minnesota-based nonprofit that serves they're like a network hub for other member organizations that kind of do the same kind of work that they do. And what we were working on, they just wanted to be able to build those relationships effectively. They have been working with those member organizations for some time, and really wanted to come alongside them as a peer, as a support, as a partner, as opposed to some like a top-down authority figure. And so we were able to build some communication strategies with the help of other experts in the room that brought in the values that already existed in the nonprofit, the values of the different community members around the state, which are slightly different and nuanced. And then we're able to deliver a plan for them to carry forward, and even some of that employee mapping.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of shifted that model to be member mapping. So like member journey mapping of like if you are a member in this uh, community, in this networking group, this is what you're going to experience. This is how you're going to move through what you can expect from this organization. Um, what are the different touch points? What are the nuances that you should be aware of so that you can contribute effectively and get what you need also? So that was very fulfilling to be part of that process.
Yeah, and I love that's so important because first of all, I'm in recruiting. That's the other side of my PowerHouse Smart world, and I love my clients, my employer clients, and I try really hard. I don't take a lot of them as far as when I accept recruiting retainers. I sit down and I really meet the owners of the company and I find out all about it. But this whole those companies that struggle and have, like you call it, the revolving door. And it
Hmm.
might not even be that it's a short term. It could be, they make it to 2 years and then they keep turning over.
Hmm.
Um, uh, that concept that you came up of the employee experience and mapping what that is all about, and there are so many different nuances. I wish I had more time to talk about it, but it's so valuable. I want to share that with my recruiting employers because I want to place someone that is the perfect fit, that
Hmm.
loves that, whole idea of what the company does. They love the team and they want to stay there as long as they can. And I also know that the employer wants someone who's going to be there long term because it's expensive and it's painful to lose people. And we, in my industry, which is design and construction and real estate, is very complex and it could easily burn out people. And we need people to feel loved and to feel appreciated and to be understood. But we need to do that by tying in all those key factors that you pointed out in the Power Connect groups, which is setting expectations and all of the processes and everybody understanding everything. So it's music to my ears, my dear. And so
Love to hear it.
yeah, no, it really means so much, and I just think anybody who's listening to this who is working for a firm or has a firm and they're struggling, I think you'd be open to having a consultation with them. It may not be the perfect fit, but you're that kind of human being that you would just spend some time with them and maybe give them some guidance, and maybe it is the perfect consulting opportunity for both of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I love to see what's out there. I see everything as an opportunity. And I think one thing that I also want to drive home is that that Rootwork is very much a co-creator in partnering with businesses. I'm not going to offer solutions and just offer them. I'm going to build them with organizations. And so that those who are interested in collaborating and being part of the solution are going to be a really good fit.
Yeah, no, understood completely. So we have a little bit more time. So what I would like to ask you is what I often, the topic I get onto is living with an attitude of gratitude. And I've known you long enough now, and I've heard what you've had to say here today. And I think people already sense that you do live with that mindset. What advice or what guidance would you give to someone who, is saying, well, I'm not quite sure I understand what that means, or how can I be, positioning myself better for having a better outlook on life? And so, what advice would you give them, Julie?
Well, I think it goes back to the lessons that I was talking about with spinning babies about, growth and change and how much more comfortable I've become with the ambiguity. Um, I have just benefited from that so much. And that can be scary. I think there are a lot of people who like me in ways, we prefer structure. We like structures. Structures are great. They're useful. And but there's also opportunity in the gray areas. And so I think that, a big part of my growth has come from embracing the potential that can come from not knowing what's next and still working towards it. And that is more of a mindset of abundance, of really accepting possibility than it is of seeing deficit. Or, I don't have enough concrete information in order to work. Well, I get that. But also maybe that's good. Maybe that's exciting. Maybe there can be some fun in that.
So wise. Absolutely, that is great. And you're right. It's not something people do easily. Often is that ambiguity and being open to change. But I think you paint the picture, and the reality is we have to grow, and the best way to do that is to embrace openness, open-mindedness, and
Mhm.
you are a beautiful leader in that area. Thank you for doing that for us. And so, last but not least, Spinning Babies. Can you share anything, and people might want to get connected with Spinning Babies? I mean, who is that nonprofit for? And if you're listening to this, I want you all to know that that is something you're passionate about. And what can you share about that people can, take home with them, even if they're not going to be having a baby anytime soon?
Sure. Yeah. Well, spinningbabies.com is the first place you can visit. It has lots of information, free information for parents and for professionals who are in the birth work world or who are pregnant or who are connected to somebody who is pregnant. And basically, Spinning Babies provides tools and an approach to pregnancy and birth that can help you be more comfortable and empowered as a parent, as a pregnant parent, but then also as somebody who is bringing another human into the world and trying to bond with them and create a great foundation for the rest of their lives. And so we have lots of different ways of connecting with the business. Like I said, we have our parents and our professionals, different kinds of professionals. They could be birth workers or parent educators or doctors. All of them have their own different paths, and those are explicitly written out on the website. And then also, you just feel free to have a conversation with one of us. Reach out to us, and we can certainly can help you find your own journey through that. And even I think what's fascinating about what you said about those who might not be going through pregnancy or birth, um, I think what's fascinating about spinning babies is that it's the root of life. It is like uh like we're helping people come into the world in a positive way, as positive as possible, and experience that entry and that delivery of your child. So there's positive relationships that can come out of the philosophy from spinning babies, whether or not um, you are somebody who's giving birth or not. You know, you can uh, pick up a bunch of the nuances about, you know, how to connect with your body and how to be grounded and empowered yourself. Things that I have been able to bring into my own life before I became a mother and now that I'm a mom. So definitely some resources are available on that.
I think that's fantastic, and I know that there's a whole new, you know, a whole new world in the world of having children today, and a lot of the families are waiting longer, and so there's a whole new process, and I'm not going to get too specific, but I definitely love that this is going to give you some grounding and some human awareness and consciousness on how we can help every human that is born in this world. How beautiful is that, right?
Yeah, I love to be part of that.
Yeah, I can imagine. What a wonderful life. You wake up every day and you're helping the world be a better place. I try to do that too every day. So, with that said, I'm going to have in the links. Your consulting business, of course, will be top of mind for those who are in the business world and on that mindset right now, as well as the spinning babies, as well as all of your links and everything that's there. And I'm just so grateful for you, Julie. Thank you for all the work that you do in this world. Thank you for helping our humanity in so many ways. And I'm blessed to have you in my life. And I can't wait to give you a hug in person when I'm in Minnesota.
Absolutely. It's going to happen. Thank you so much. I feel really honored to be talking with you.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Have a great rest of your day and know that you are loved and appreciated.
Thank you so much.